Good morning, students. Welcome to this video. So, in the last previous video, we have concluded Unit 2. We will start about Unit 3. And these are the topics in Unit 3. These are drinking water quality, Indian standards of drinking water, introduction to water treatment for safe drinking, and importance of sanitation. So, as I have told you earlier in the introduction class only, the first video, and this course is just an overview. This is not a detailed um, engineering course on water treatment or water supply that the civil engineering students have already studied in your fifth semester. I think the previous environmental engineering you have already studied. So since it is an open elective course and to give a brief overview or an outline of uh, water supply aspect of environmental engineering, will not go very deep into the water supply. Okay, so this is like an brief outline or an overview, you can say. So now in the last unit we have discussed about the intake of water from the river sources or other sources and how to transport water using conduits. So the initial stage of the supply is we have discussed. Now the intermediate stage is your treatment, water treatment. Why we do the water treatment is that we have to ensure the quality of water that is to be supplied to the consumers. If you do not provide water of good quality, your first of all, people will have difficulties, people will have health issues, they might die also. It will have serious adverse effects on the population. Okay, and then your the demand of water supply will be less. People will rather buy and not take from the municipal water that is supplied by the city or the government. So in that case, our first aim is to ensure safe and quality water supply. So this topic, this first one, drinking water quality. So there are some aspects in which we can there are some criteria rather on which we can decide the quality. How do you decide the quality of water? How do you say that the certain sample of water is good or bad? So you need to know the aspects of the various um, ways of treatment to know as to how we can treat the water for good quality. Now, uh, there are some characteristics of water. Okay. Now, the treatment water, you have to test certain characteristics. First is the physical characteristics and the chemical characteristics. These two characteristics you have to test. The first is the physical characteristics, which includes turbidity, color, taste, odor, and temperature. There are others as well, but these four or five are the major physical characteristics. So, what is turbidity? Now, uh, turbidity is nothing but if you take a glass sample of water, if you collect a sample of water, a glass of water directly from a river, if you allow the water to remain in suspension for let's say for a few minutes, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, you'll find there are certain suspended fine organic materials, maybe clay or silt, that will settle down. If you give more time, it will more quantity of clay and the particles, suspended particles will settle down. So this is the muddy thing, muddy component of the river water. So turbidity is nothing but the your components of water, like the solids, like the your mud or the clay, silt, whatever it is, all these constituents which makes the water appear as muddy or cloudy. See, if the presence of such components or the presence of such constituents will not make the water appear as clear, so it will make the water look dirty, look muddy. So if you see such kind of a water, will you be able to uh, have that feeling of consuming it? You won't, simply because you'll have a look, you have a first look at the sample of water and you'll just throw it. That is how it defines. So turbidity is the amount of dissolved or undissolved, suspended organic or clay or finely divided, fine, salt, sealed or such materials which makes the water appear as cloudy or muddy. So these you have to see how much the water is turbid. If the water is very turbid, then there are some units of turbidity like JTU and NTU. Okay, Jackson's turbidity unit, Neflometer turbidity unit. So turbidity is measured using a turbidometer, where principle of interference of light is used to measure how the water is turbid. If a source of light is made to pass through a turbid water, will light pass? It will not pass because it's not transparent. So if it is obstructing that source of light, that means the water is highly turbid. So you cannot use that water. So this is one parameter. Next is the color. Usually the color of water is colorless. Okay. Scientifically, water H2O is always colorless. But sometimes if it becomes stale or if it becomes pale, its color might change. Like if it is heavily polluted, the color of a river, color of water in a river or a lake which is heavily polluted, it turns into green. Sometimes it might turn into brown because of growth on algae. So if such is the condition of the color, you cannot consume that water. So one important aspect is the color. So then you have Nestle's tube, which takes samples and find using platinum cobalt. So platinum cobalt, this is one compound, one element, chemical that is being used to identify the color. Okay, so using that you have to measure the color intensity. That is being done using the help of a tintometer. Okay, which has a standard color intensity of standard water, and you have to compare what is the color intensity that you are getting. So ideally a good drinking quality water should be always colorless. It should be fully transparent. Okay, taste and odor. Taste, again, it should be tasteless, it should be odorless. Water should not have these qualities. Water should not taste salty. That is the reason you cannot take seawater, because seawater is salty. You cannot use seawater for your water supply. Otherwise you would have, rivers are drying up and oceans or seas never dry. You would have taken seawater directly, but then it is not possible because it is so much salty that that much amount of water cannot, kind of water cannot. Order, it should not be it should not have any order. It should be odorless. There is a number called TON, threshold order number. So this, I think, I think the civil engineering students have already learned this. So this determines threshold of what is the order. Threshold order number is the volume of water that needs to be added to completely disappear any amount of order that is being present in the water sample. Okay, that is called as TON. So temperature, ideal temperature is the room temperature, that is 25 degrees centigrade. Water should not be very less. It should not be chilled water, and it should not also contain very high temperature also. Okay, like 40 degrees or 50 degrees. So normal room temperature is 25 degrees centigrade and should not be less than 10 degrees centigrade. Okay, 10 to 25, this should be the range of temperature of water. So this is all about the physical characteristics. The chemical characteristics are total solids and suspended solids. Now, what happens is, this is one of the important aspect while might have done in engineering, environmental engineering labs also, to determine the amount of total solids and suspended. Total solids is the amount of solids that is being present in the water sample. Now, some of these solids are in suspension and some of these solids dissolve in water. Like salt, if you dissolve salt in water, can you see the salt? You can't see it because it has already been dissolved. And some part will always remain undissolved. It cannot get inserted into the molecules of water. Okay, so there is that concept. So some total solids is, how do you find it then? How to find the dissolved solids? What you do is take this sample of water, you evaporate on a dish, evaporate, and then after 24 hours take out. You will find the water is gone and only that sample is present. And if before testing that you find the what is the weight of the water, after evaporating find what is the weight, then you can find what is the dissolved solids. There are a number of ways. So this is very important. Total solids and suspended. What is the suspended solids? Is that can be filtered out. Dissolved solids you cannot find out using filtration because it is already dissolved into the water. For that you need to evaporate the water to find out. Okay, but for suspended solids, how do you find the suspended solids? You have to filter using a filter paper in a funnel. You pass the water sample through that filter paper, and all the suspended solids will be present in the filter, and it will get filtered. You wait that and you find what is the amount of suspended solid. pH. pH is what? Negative logarithm of concentration of hydrogen ion in water. pH always determines the degree of alkalinity or acidity. So if your pH is 0 to 7, your water is acidic. Below 7, if it is below 7, it is acidic. If it is more than 7, it is alkaline. Ideally, drinking water should have a pH of 7. But sometimes in Indian standards, it might be in the range of 6.5 to your 8. That is okay. Little bit of alkalinity or little bit of acidic, that is fine. But you cannot have total alkalinity. That is one major criteria, because then if you have lower values of pH in water, then there will be more amount of hydrogen ion concentration. Then it will start reacting with the other elements or other you know cations or anions of the salts present in water, and start reacting and produce acids or other bases, other harmful waste. So this you have to keep in mind that the pH should be strictly between 6.5 to 7.5 or 8, not more than that. Ideally, pH of water should be 7. It should be neutral. It should neither be acidic nor be alkaline. Hardness. Now, what is hardness? I'm sure you must have heard this term earlier also. So, hardness is that characteristic which prevents the formation of sufficient leather or foam. Okay, when mixed with soap. Now, what we do is we use soap with water. Why? To wash clothes, to wash utensils, or in any other purposes also. So while using water, this water, when you use hard water with soap, it will not form the leather or the foam. That is its characteristic. Okay, so that is the example of hard water. So also hard water will have carbonate hardness and non-carbonate. Now carbonate hardness will be your permanent hardness, and non-carbonate hardness will be your temporary hardness, which can be removed by simply by boiling or using some other chemicals. Okay, so hardness is not good. Even if the water is too hard, then what happens is in boilers used in your power generation. Boiler is one of the major component where water is used to produce steam, and this steam is used to run the turbines, shaft of the turbines. Now, while producing the steam, huge quantity of water is being boiled. Now, what happens if the water is hard? If the water is really have very high degree of hardness, say permanent hardness, then it will form scales in the container. Scales means it will have certain marks. It will form permanent marks in the container because it is not being able to form the leather. So very high degree of heat is required to permanently remove the hardness. So that is one disadvantage. BOD is biological oxidation demand. This is one of the another major component. So you have biological, you always have, see, water consists of hydrogen and oxygen. So there is oxygen, plenty of oxygen, amount of dissolved oxygen rather in water, in a water molecule. Now what happens is there are other microorganisms also sometimes present in water. So these microorganisms, in order to sustain, they will require oxygen to live. Now for the purpose of these organisms to stay, they have a certain demand of oxygen. Now this demand of oxygen is taken from the dissolved oxygen from water. Okay, so if the BOD is more, If the BOD, biological oxygen demand of more, that is not desirable. Ideally, the biological oxygen demand of any water sample should be nil. For at least for drinking water in India, it is nil. It should be 0. In any case, it should not be more than 5, and ideally it should be 0. If it is more than 5, it is not advisable to drink that water. So what we have discussed in this chapter is that we have discussed about the certain characteristics. How do you going to judge, on what parameter are you going to judge the uh, quality of water? You need certain parameters. Like to find out if the water is of good quality or of bad quality, how do you find it? There are certain aspects, there are certain parameters. So these are these parameters on which the quality of water, drinking water, may be judged. Now, in this topic, like the second one, Indian standards of drinking water. There are some standards that is being laid as per uh, SIPCO code. Okay, so now they like one of the standards is BOD should be real. It should have more amount of dissolved oxygen. Okay, dissolved oxygen should be. Fact is, water will contain both organic and inorganic substances. Like you'll have dissolved amount of, you'll have some amount of nitrogen, some amount of chlorine, okay, or chlorides rather. You have sodium, magnesium, okay, arsenic, iron. Every amount of metal is there. Now, the Indian standards for drinking water have laid certain guidelines about what is the average amount that should be present, desirable amount that should be present, and what is the maximum permissible limit. Okay, like what is the maximum permissible limit for total or the total solids? For total solids, the maximum permissible limit is 500 milligram per liter. Okay, so this is laid by the code. So you have a list of certain tables which allows us to know about the permissible limit and the desirable limit of each of these elements or each of these compounds, like whether it is chlorides, whether it is sulfates or sulfides, nitrogen, the metallic elements like iron, like magnesium, sodium, uh, some traces of maybe zinc and copper also, but molybdenum. So there are all these elements that are in inorganic elements that are present and the organic also. So what is the permissible limits that is being laid in this tables, in this list? So also the drinking water supplied by the municipality should conform to these limits. In any case, they should not cross the permissible limits. If it doesn't cross, only then is it allowable for us to, it is safe for us to drink. So the next class we'll discuss about the other aspects, the standards. We'll discuss about some tables, the standards laid by SIPCO manual, and we'll discuss about water treatment, why water treatment is necessary for safe drinking, what are the various aspects of water treatment, and then importance of sanitation. And then we'll complete Unit 3. Thank you for listening to this video.